Okay, now we're taking a look at some applications of derivatives, and what we're going to want to consider, and we're going to look at this top part right here, and I'm going to summarize it in a nutshell for you. The idea here for a derivative is that it's a rate of change, okay? It's the slope of the tangent line. Slope is a rate. So if you're looking at applications of functions and you're given a function, the rate of change, okay, is the derivative. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at an application problem, and it's a really neat problem because, something, maybe you don't consider these things going on in your everyday life, but they do. There's really calculus all around us. So suppose, you and your friends are going to a concert and people are going in through the doors. Okay. And let's say that we could model the people going in the doors to this concert by the function f of t equals 560 e to the sine t, where t represents the number of hours after the gates have opened. All right. So what is f of 1/2? And then what is f prime of 1/2? And then it says use correct units and explain what each value represents in the context of the problem. So this isn't terribly difficult. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, f of 1/2, and let me write it right here. F of 1/2 looks something like this: 560 e to the sine of 1/2. Now your calculator should be in radian mode, and of course these are problems you're going to do on the calculator. So for the f of 1/2, it's just a straight up plug in. All right, you're going to get something that looks like this: 904.482, but the decimal really doesn't concern us. We're really looking at the whole numbered part here, the 904. What does this represent in the context of the problem? Well, what does the function model? The number of people entering a concert, okay, t hours after the gates have opened. So 1/2 represents a half hour. So what does this mean? It means that a half hour after the concert gates opened, okay, there are 904 people that have entered the concert. Okay. Now, the next part of this says, what is f prime of 1/2? So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to write out the function. You need to know how to use nderiv on your TI calculator. So you're going to use this function right here, which I believe is math 8, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and I'll be sure to put a link in the description below. In case you don't know how to use that, I'll find a video online for you. But f prime of 1/2 equals, in this case, I get 793.757 on the calculator. And so what does that mean? It means that a half hour after the gate opens, all right, and I guess I'm just going to, let's see if I can squeeze that in. A half hour after the gate opens, okay, people are entering at a rate of 793 per hour. So people are entering at a rate of 793 people per hour. So that's what that looks like. Okay. Now the next question says, how many people have entered the concert 2 hours after the gate has opened? Is the number of people entering increasing or decreasing at this time? And then justify. And that's really important. So at 2 hours, all we have to do is say, well, what's f of 2? All right, and again, this is just plug in straight on your calculator. No fancy function to plug in other than the one you're given, 560e sine of 2. And this works out to be something like 1390.244. And again, we're looking at the whole numbered portion of this answer. So what does this mean? It means that 2 hours after the gates have opened, 1,390 people have entered the concert. So what does this mean? Let me write that down really quickly. 2 hours after the gates open, 1,390 have entered the concert. Okay, and now let's take a look at the second part of this. And the second part says, how is the number of people entering increasing or decreasing at this time? Well, all they want us to do is check out, well, what's f prime of 2? What is f prime of 2? So that you'll use the n deriv function again. And that's going to look like this, negative 578.545. Now, we really don't care about the number, but what we care about is the sign. Because is it increasing or decreasing? Well, it's going to be decreasing because the derivative is negative. Remember that fact. If a function is increasing, the derivative will be positive. If a function is decreasing, the derivative will be negative. So the answer to this part is that and our justification is that since f prime of 2 is less than 0, all right, then the number of people entering the concert is decreasing. Okay, it is decreasing, and we can give the rate at a rate of 578 people per hour. Okay, so that's what this means. Really neat applications, and again, we really didn't do too much work because we plugged it all into the calculator. All right, so I hope this video and these applications were helpful. The important takeaway, remember, is that when you're talking about a derivative, it's the slope of the tangent line. That's the geometric definition of derivative anyway. And a slope is really a rate of change, if you remember that from Algebra 1. So if this video was helpful, you enjoyed the video, well, maybe not necessarily enjoyed the video because you might have had to watch it. But if it was helpful, remember to like and subscribe.